On YouTube, there was always an anxiety of boring the audience and keeping them entertained every second.
Yeah.
Whereas like with a film, people sit down and they're in a cinema and they're there for that movie. So you can create the tempo that you want to create.
Are you in there?
After the huge success that you have with your first feature film, what was the biggest challenge that you faced when you sat down to write Bring Her Back?
Luckily, I'd written Bring Her Back. We'd written Bring Her Back at the same time as Talk to Me. So like a lot of development happened at the same time. And like we jumped right into the next movie because the expectation was starting to weigh on us. And like we couldn't like be overwhelmed by that. So it was just about signing on to the next thing and just start doing it so you don't overthink it.
Is there any personal inspiration or situation that helped you besides, directing both films, but write and bring both films to life?
Yeah, like we were like dealing with some losses at the time, we'd lost a family member, and then like while we were shooting Bring It Back in pre-production, we lost a really close family friend, and like that stuff just like makes its way into the script and makes its way into the process because there was nowhere else to put that and no other way to express it except for what we were doing in that moment, which was making the movie. And like, yeah, more so, I think Bring It Back than Talk to Me. Like, it just feels like a really, really vulnerable, honest, expressive film, more so, I'd say.
This is my new sister and brother, Oliver. Oliver lost his family just like you guys. Needed someone that could give him special care.
Feel this slowed down film besides your good old days in YouTube with Raka Raka. How do you balance this visual rhythm, the difference between your days in YouTube and this different, more slowed down, more emotional narrative? How do you balance this visual?
Yeah, it's always about like knowing that you have the time. On YouTube, there was always an anxiety of boring the audience and keeping them entertained every second. Yeah. Whereas like with a film, people sit down and they're in a cinema and they're there for that movie. So you can create the tempo that you want to create. There were days that we would run the set like a Raka Raka shoot though. Like, cause there was something, when you're trying to create like a certain energy, we would run it like we were running a YouTube video. Like I remember there's a scene where Laura, Sally Hawkins' character, is cleaning up the house. And we were like, you got 5 minutes to clean up this house. Like we could only have 5 minutes to shoot because we got to wrap action. And she was just like a bat out of hell being excited to pull it up. And that was the way that we used to run our YouTube videos. And yeah, when you run the film like that, that creates that same sort of energy.
It's like an angel. It's a beautiful angel.
We know that for this film, you try to use as few CGI effects as possible and opted for practical effects. How was this process, trying to challenge the makeup artist to constantly improve the effects?
Well, we had 2 prosthetic teams on this movie and we sort of pit them against each other. And there was like a really fun, healthy competition between the 2 teams to like one-up each other. So I feel like that might have been a bit of it. And then, but also our practitioners were just so good. Like Meg effects and Scarecrow effects, like they love it so much. They love it just as much as we do. And like, they're just as expressive as we are. And they're like artists as well. And so it's so fun to collaborate with people as passionate as we are.
Yes. Some people believe the spirit stays in the body for months after death. It's working!
And actually talking about the special effects and the practical effects, I'm going to put a little spoiler alert in this part. I need to know the scene with Oliver bites that object, no spoilers, is quite terrifying. So I have to know, how do you help Jonah achieve this scene and what was going through your minds while you were filming it?
It's always just fun. Like we're always sort of laughing on set with that stuff because it's so extreme, but it's so fun to shoot that stuff. So there's always like a really fun, magical thing that's happening on set. And like, you're always trying to find multiple ways to shoot it. So like, there's like, I remember we built Jonah's whole head. So like, there was like a big mold of his head with a real knife. And there was also like foam versions of that he could chew on. And then there also was magnets on these fake teeth and these veneers that we would build. So there's multiple things that are happening. And then the sound design on top of that is a whole other layer that like all of that things all together. Like you shoot like 4 hours of things to find that perfect 2 seconds.
I can't wait to see it again in theaters here in Mexico. Thank you so much, Danny, for the interview.
Legend, thank you so much.
We can bring her back.